absolutely vital to both these men. Conteh, of course, sees it as another step on the way towards the world title. If he loses this, then he can say goodbye to all those thoughts for some time to come. And Tom Bogs, this remarkable Danish boxer who used to hold this title at one time, an outstanding European star now for nearly a decade. But if he loses this tonight, then it might be the last time we see him around in the big time. Bogs is 29 years old. He's 7 years older than Conteh. "81 fights behind him, Bogs. Beaten only 6 times. Former European middle and light heavyweight champion, and who not so long ago fought for the world middleweight title against Carlos Monzon. But in that fight suffered his worst ever defeat. Monzon stopped him in 5 rounds. The only other time he's ever been stopped was with cut by Carlos Marx of Trinidad. The vulnerable eyes of Bogs might well be a factor in this fight tonight. Conteh, grimly determined, not so much as a smile from the moment he got into the ring to the moment he came out. Got a dab of grease on the graze underneath his left eye that was put there in sparring. And looking sharp and really determined. And beginning to pump the punches into this solid Dane's frame. Bogs noted for durability. Right hand caught him a bit far back, but it had its effect. There's a man who's been known to be vulnerable to right hand in occasional fights, Conteh, and again tonight. Now can he keep his cool and come out of this safely? Gino Ambrosini, Italian referee. And Conteh distinctly rattled. That could have been a lot worse for Conteh. Caught him at the end of his travel, that punch. And he just about rode it, but it still had a stinging and almost stunning effect. Well, he has been vulnerable to right hands in the past. So it proved again tonight in the very earliest stages. Here's the punch again. Right hand. Short right hand. In fact, it's a good deal shorter on the replay than I thought it was at the time. And you can see the effect it had. And so Conteh knows now what he's got to watch for. He can't afford to get caught with too many like that. Produced the right hand that dumped Conteh on the floor in one of his earlier fights. Conteh's coming here dead on the weight at 12-7. The Danish camp believe he's having trouble making the weight. And the way he was put down by that right hand there didn't look altogether a really hard right. Maybe a sign that he is a little bit weak at this weight. If he's having a struggle to get down to 12-7, then Conteh could well be weak at the weight. And then he'll have real problems. Particularly against such a strong man as Bogs. friendly promoter Harry Levine, paying over £30,000 for this fight. But it's looking as though he and we might well get our money's worth. And I don't think Conteh has quite recovered from that first round shock. I don't think he was hurt so much as taken completely by surprise. Only 22 years old, only 24 fights behind him. Might take him a round or two to settle down. Very much quieter round than the first, and very little in it. Bogs not managed to repeat the success. Conteh managed to steer clear of trouble. But hasn't really got his boxing together again. What a remarkable man this Bogs is. He's been a pro for more than 9 years, 81 professional fights, 74 wins, 1 draw, 60 defeats. In fact, he went through his first 55 professional fights unbeaten. Now, that was 5.5 years without defeat at the start of Tom Bogs' career. Round 3. And some of that grease that was covering the graze on Conteh's left cheek has been wiped away, and that's been wiped away at the demand of the Danish corner, who sent the referee across, the Italian referee, to ask Conteh's corner to get rid of the grease on his face, which of course they're perfectly entitled to do. Bogs has had 13 fights in the past against British opponents, and on only one occasion did he suffer defeat, and that was from the hands of Bunny Sterling, who, funnily enough, is in the John Conteh camp. And in fact, Conteh was at that fight in Denmark, was in the corner of Sterling, so he does know a little bit about Bogs' style. But he certainly didn't know enough about it to guard against the right hand in the first round. Bogs certainly not letting Conteh take initiative too much. The Dane responding to these challenges from Conteh and not allowing Conteh very much scope for work. That's a good right hand. He didn't take a count, but he was certainly on the floor from the force of that right. A left and then a right. So success for Conteh in the third round. He needed it. Will have done a lot to restore his confidence. Well, it's a fascinating sport, wondering what other shocks, surprises, and thrills this fight may hold in store for us.